Technology-mediated, flexible teaching and learning for higher education is at the forefront of policy development in ASEAN region. In this session, we will talk about distance education programs in Asia, the current policy standards and guidelines on distance education of the Commission on Higher Education, new developments and prospects for open distance e-learning, massive open online courses. First, let us get to know distance education. Distance education is a mode of educational delivery whereby teacher and learners are separated in time and space. Instructions are delivered through specifically designed materials and methods using appropriate technologies, and of course supported by organizational and administrative structures and arrangements. Some higher education institutions also take note that extension classes can also be delivered via distance mode. An extension class is a class or program normally offered by a recognized higher education institution in its main campus, but the programs can be offered in another location or specified by CHED or government permit to operate that program. In Southeast Asia, we see a very vibrant emerging market with over 40 million internet users, and this will contribute to the digital economy. The internet penetration rate in Southeast Asia is as high as over 70% in all countries. Well, of course, in exemption for Laos, Myanmar, and Timor-Leste. In the Philippines, the internet users really came out as high as 55.5%, and this record already increased due to the emergence of the pandemic and digitalization. Let us get to know ODEL, Open Distance and E-Learning. ODEL refers to the merger of two concepts, that of open learning and distance education. It is a system that combines methodology for distance education with the concepts of open learning and flexible learning. We also encounter open schooling, which is a system in which pupils and teachers are physically separated, and innovative teaching methods and ICTs are used to bridge the separation of teachers and learners. E-learning, use of technologies such as computers to learn using management platforms or learning management systems brought by Moodle, and this enables students to access and download resources, course materials, submit assignments, and receive feedback from the online teachers. Many students are now into mobile learning using telephones that provides education and data over distance. This is also an alternative learning system used by many countries in ASEAN. Some HEIs still use correspondence education or correspondence courses. This refers to a method of providing education to non-resident students who receive lessons and exercises through mail and upon completion return them for analysis, criticism, or grading by the higher education institution. Currently, we hear a lot about MOOCs. MOOCs, or Massive Open Online Courses, refer to free online courses available for anyone to enroll. It also provides an affordable and flexible way to learn new skills and new courses anytime and anywhere. Let us get to know the developments of open and distance and e-learning. Historically, in 1969, the UK Open University spearheaded the development of the first wave correspondence and open learning programs. China also introduced imperial examination in the 6th century open learning system using a classical Confucian methodology. In Asia, we have seen also the rise of Open University. In 1971, Thailand opened its first open university called as Ramkanghaeng University. 1972, South Korea started with South Korea Open University. Pakistan, Israel, Thailand, China, Sri Lanka, Macau, Turkey, India, And the Philippines in 1995 opened its University of the Philippines Open University. The second wave of distance education started with conventional universities already becoming dual-mode providers, traditional and distance education. China's RTV University no longer offered traditional, they also included distance education. And Korea to date has 17 cyber universities offering several conventional universities plus distance education. The second wave included dual, modern, blended learning, and cross-border providers. Cross-border and e-universities also increased, pioneered by Australia and UK universities. They not only enroll ASEANs, but also they franchise and accredit ASEAN providers. Private for-profit institutions such as University of Phoenix Online, Korean University Education Asia also provided blended and cross-border education. The third wave included recent newcomers in distance education. Arab countries spent a lot of money to cater to students for distance education. Distance education programs sometimes are perceived as second-class education. However, countries continue to invest on distance e-learning programs, including Saudi Arabia that even established the National Center for E-Learning and Distance Education. Many other universities in the Middle East offered, such as Jordan, the Gulf State University, University of Bahrain, and they're slowly moving into full e-learning. UNESCO Bangkok assisted Southeast Asian countries in their distance education programs. Let us get to know the Commission on Higher Education Institutions, Quality Assurance, and Institutional Management and Commitment Policies. Higher education institutions should include in its mission, budget, and policy statement commitments to offer distance education program. They should have the organizational structure and clear institutional procedures for managing and ensuring academic oversight over its distance education program. The higher education institution shall have an internal quality assurance management system appropriate for distance education programs. There must be a selection criteria and process for hiring competent and committed personnel. There must be internal quality assurance system, and they should show evidence of a program of continuous self-evaluation directed toward program improvement, targeting more effective pedagogical advances and assessment of students' achievement of intended outcomes. The Commission on Higher Education looks as well at the components of the distance education programs. For those who would like to offer a degree program by distance education, it should seek approval from the Commission on Higher Education regarding the delivery of such program. And the application for the delivery system shall be approved by the CHED Central Office and course through the CHED Regional Office and the Technical Panel for Distance Education. Instructional materials are also reviewed by the CHED Committee. It includes looking at appropriate learning needs both in content and medium of delivery. Higher education institutions who would like to have distance education program should prepare a well-written, well-structured, well-tested self-instructional materials for every course offering. The amount of the materials covered in the course and the depth with which it is covered shall equal that of a classroom-based or traditional-based course. Higher education institutions must have a pool of qualified subject matter specialists with at least a master's degree and a doctoral degree for doctoral programs in the subject area that they are assigned to develop. They must also have readers who shall critically review the work of the subject matter specialist and a team of related experts, instructional design specialists, production design specialists, and other specialists that are needed to transform the materials into learning packages. In terms of the delivery mode strategies via distance education, the delivery of course content consists of the provision of learning packages for independent learning, mechanisms that facilitate and support interaction between mentors and peers using appropriate communication technologies and student assessment procedures appropriate to the distance education format. Higher education institutions should ensure that there is a core of qualified faculty members with appropriate master's degree and doctoral degrees to perform teaching functions of student evaluation, assessment, and issuance of grades and academic consultation. They should also provide regular faculty-student and student-student interaction or feedbacks for learning, either face-to-face or via alternative format, like online discussions, forum, or chat rooms. When it comes to delivery mode strategies, the higher education institutions shall provide a core of qualified faculty members with MA and doctoral degrees who shall perform the teaching functions of students, evaluation, assessment, and issuance of grades and academic consultation. The HEI shall provide regular faculty-student, student-student interaction for feedback for learning, either face-to-face or via alternative format like online discussions, forum, or chat rooms. Higher education institutions shall prepare validated instruments or assessments on performance standards to gauge the learner's progress in the course. Frequency of assessment is also being reviewed by the CHED technical panel, and it should be indicated. In terms of examination, it should provide students' ID. Higher education institutions shall seek to assure the integrity of students' work via distance education. Students shall be provided access to learning resources, and the higher education institution shall undertake periodic internal review, evaluation, and updating of all instructional materials. It should be revised at least every 5 years. When it comes to student support services, distance education should ensure this particular provision. We would like to see that students shall be given an appropriate information package on the program itself. Currently, this is the Commission on Higher Education's policies, standards, and guidelines focusing on institutional management and commitment, showing all the internal quality assurance system provided by distance education programs. We are on its way to develop the new policy standards and guidelines. It is a work in progress. We will look at the flexible technology-mediated instruction and the new developments, new trends on massive open online courses. We hope that the new policy standards and guidelines will be presented in the next few months.